What's up, everyone? We're back with Chicago Tough Sports. I'm Anthony, here with Hitman,
Yo.
and we're going to do some wrestling talk tonight. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus. I want to apologize to you, Hitman. I've been kind of under the weather lately.
It's all good.
I didn't want to put out any bullshit, any shitty content or anything. So
That's all good.
I haven't been into it. So, well, a couple of topics I want to talk about are my dislikes so far that I'm seeing, and they're consistent. I'm going to start with SmackDown. There's a lot with SmackDown that I have issues with, but the main issue that I'm having this Sunday, they're going to give the tag team titles to Rey and his son Dominic. That pisses me off because Rey Mysterio is great. He's always been great. He'll always be great. Hall of Famer, definitely. Dominic Mysterio is dog shit. He doesn't look like a wrestler, talk like a wrestler, move like a wrestler. He can't wrestle. And because of the name Mysterio, they're going to give this kid a title. I don't care what kind of title it is. I feel, in my opinion, he doesn't deserve to have anything because he just sucks, man. I think people just cheer for him because he's out there with his dad. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, what's funny is that I actually agree with some parts of that in terms of the tag team titles are going to switch on SmackDown, and I'll actually get into the tag team title picture in my portion of it.
Yeah.
I do understand your concerns regarding Mysterio. I do slightly disagree in terms of his in-ring ability. I think he's pretty good in the ring. The matches that he had with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy were very good. Do I think he's deserving of a title? No. I think he needs to some more seasoning, maybe go down to NXT for a little bit. But I do understand the quote unquote rub or the business aspect of it, of giving the titles to the Mysterios eventually. Not saying that I agree with it, because I do agree with you.
Yeah.
I think Dolph and and Rude need to hold on to those titles.
Yeah.
But as far as his in-ring ability, there's some there. It's just not a lot of it yet, if that makes sense.
No, it does. A couple issues I have with your response. To send him down to NXT, right now NXT is the better show. I don't think if someone's bad, they should be sent down to NXT because they'll ruin NXT.
Well, let me rephrase that. Not necessarily NXT. I'm sorry. Well, if we're looking at NXT as the minor leagues, that's kind of what it is.
I hear what you're saying.
Well, send them down to the Performance Center to get some training. I should have just stated that. Let them go down to Florida, get some seasoning. But I do agree with you that those titles are coming off of Rude and Ziggler, and that they shouldn't. I think the tag team titles should either be on
Otis and Gable.
Yeah, they can do that, or keep them on Rude and Ziggler, or honestly, you can put them on the Usos if you wanted to.
I think that's going to eventually happen with the Usos. No,
I agree with you. I agree.
I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
No.
I think there's going to be a rivalry with Jimmy and Roman.
Sure, yeah.
Jimmy and Jay. But eventually, Jimmy and Jay are going to come back together and get those tag team titles. But in the meantime, if you feel the need to take the titles off of Ziggler and Rude, they should go to Gable and Otis. They're the better tag team.
Yeah, I have no issues with that. I truly don't. I have no issues with that.
And as far as a business aspect, I don't see how Dominic Mysterio is good for the business. I mean, I try and look at it through all of your guys' opinions, yours, Scott's, Jimmy's, people I talk to at work who like wrestling. I cannot find anything positive to say about Dominic Mysterio. He's just bad. He makes uh, consistent mistakes in the ring. His mic skills are terrible. His wrestling is god awful. I can't find anything good to say about the kid. And yet he's going to get a title. He's going to get a belt.
Yeah, I mean the business aspect of this is keeping Ray happy. that's the business aspect of it. And also him getting a rub off his father.
Yeah.
That's basically what it boils down to. But
that's all this is.
But I agree with you that they shouldn't have the title. I agree with you. You won't get any argument out of me from that.
Yeah. Well, okay, on to my next topic. Move on to Monday Night Raw. Again, several things I could piss and moan about. Braun Strowman being one of them, but I'm slowly coming around to the Strowman thing. My main concern with Raw is the Alexa Bliss and the Lily doll thing. This thing is just stupid and it's boring. Now, if I recall correctly, Alexa Bliss is a decent wrestler. She's not great, but she puts on a good in-ring performance.
Sure.
What was it? I believe, excuse me, at the Royal Rumble where she came out. That was their opportunity to just have her explode and just wipe everyone out, get possessed, and just wipe everyone out and go on this dominant streak. But now they have her sitting on a swing set. And with this stupid little doll, it's not even scary. I don't know if you caught Raw this past Monday, but they had the doll laughing on just a continuous loop. And you can tell when the recording stopped and then when it started again. It's just bad.
Okay.
It's like, when is she going to wrestle? Like, when is she actually going to do something? She has become the female Bray Wyatt. That's all she is.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of the point of that she's now taken over all of Bray's and the Fiend's powers because she's learned, allegedly. I agree with you because you and I talked this week and I said that it's getting dumb because she's not wrestling.
Right.
You and I talked about this. I think it was Tuesday.
Yeah, I think so.
And I agree with you. My issue with Alexa Bliss is that I don't know if she can wrestle anymore in terms of, because she was out for a long period of time with concussions. And maybe
that's what it is?
And maybe she just can't do the physicality that she was able to do maybe 1 or 2 years ago. I don't know. I mean, her last match was against Asuka. Back in, I don't know, was it January? Her last actual.
Can you count the Rumble as a match? Because she did wrestle. I mean, she was in there for 30 seconds, but.
I mean, in theory, I mean, the Rumble kind of protects you because, I mean, you're not going one-on-one with somebody. But her actual last match was against Asuka on Monday Night Raw, in which that was kind of the one where she kind of went possessed and she, I think Organ came out and RKO'd her or whatever. But I don't know if she can physically do the things that she was able to do because of all the concussions that she's had over that time span. As far as the Lily doll, I told you I had a theory about that.
Yeah. I
don't think she's Lily. I think she's going to manage someone who is Lily.
Okay. And like the doll's going to take its human form or something?
Yes. And the more I thought about it, the more this person kind of makes sense because of the relationship that the two had. I was thinking the person who's Lily is probably Nikki Cross.
I knew you were going to say that. Because she just kind of like dropped off the face of the earth, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it makes sense. They were tag team champions. How they kind of ended with Lexa kind of turning on her and going with the Fiend, it kind of makes sense. But I do get your point about it's starting to get a little stale because she's not doing anything but vignettes. Like we have to see something that's going to lead to like where is this storyline going?
Yeah, do something. Disrupt the match, even if you're in there for 10 seconds.
Yeah, and that's
Do
that's
something.
what I kind of hope that she would do is that she would torment not just the women on Raw, but torment the women on SmackDown.
Yeah, just go all over the place.
Just go all over the place. Just go all over the place, torment, and then all of a sudden you pop up, and then you come up with says she's here, and then it's some crazy form of Nikki Cross who
Yeah.
can take out part of the women's division.
Yeah. That would be great. They need to do that now.
Yeah, and that's kind it's tough. It's tough because it started out as a great kind of gimmick, a storyline. Now it's just kind of like a just it's stale.
Yeah.
It's stale right now, and that's my concern. But I will say this, going back to the business aspect of it, she herself is raking in tons of money off her merchandise.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know
And that
a couple guys at work said they bought those shirts, those
Yeah.
Lily shirts. It's like,
and that's part of the reason why that gimmick won't die is because that it's I think Vince offered her like tons of money just based off that.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't know, man. All this, I mean, for the first time in a long time, in my opinion, Raw and SmackDown were good shows this past week. And
Are we talking about both as in good shows or as in like, man, Raw was good, SmackDown was good. This week is usually Raw's bad, SmackDown's good.
I just enjoyed the shows this week.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
usually I sit there and I watch them and I hate it because it's stupid and it's childish and it gets boring. I mean, there's a good match here and there, but all around, Raw and SmackDown were good, but they need to start doing better because the dog, because once fans start getting back in the seats, they're not gonna be able to pull this shit off. I think I've heard you and Scott say this before. And all the piped in cheering and all that other bullshit is not gonna work anymore.
No, and I agree with you. That we talked about this before. How I personally don't think that some of the storylines and shenanigans that are going on, you won't get that when there's live fans. You can get away with it now because you can control the narrative. But once fans start coming in for, I would say for Raw, not necessarily for house shows. House shows are kind of like exhibition games for and sports. People are just there just to be there. But once for like Raw and SmackDown, you won't be able to get away with half the stuff that they're doing now.
No way.
You just won't.
No. All right, so on the NXT. Very seldom can I find anything bad to say about NXT as of late. It's a great show. I love it. It's exciting. It's what wrestling should be.
Mm-hmm.
My only issue is Karrion Kross. Now, I'm a big Karrion Kross fan. He has the whole Bray Wyatt thing, him and Scarlett. I'm starting to find him a bit boring. He needs to, or whoever's writing his storyline for him or whatever, he needs to not reinvent himself, but he needs to find himself a little better in the ring. His wrestling in the ring is kind of stale and boring. Like when when opponent is on their knees, like wobbling around, faced away from him, and he's in the corner and he screams that time's up. Now his character, you would think something crazy and violent and very impactful is about to happen. No, he spins around and he hits you in the neck with his forearm. He has no good finishing move, no signature move. He just kind of wobbles around the ring, throws a couple clotheslines, slams you down a little bit. That's Karrion Kross. Right now, Karrion Kross is all about his entrance and Scarlet. That's all Karrion Kross is right now. And I don't want to dislike him, but he's boring me. He's like boring me to death.
Now,
The whole Finn that takeover, was it for WrestleMania week, like their WrestleMania event?
mhm.
That match against Finn Balor, I went back and watched that match. That match was kind of boring. That was all Finn Balor. That match was all Finn Balor. Karrion Kross, he really didn't do anything spectacular in the ring. I think I liked it at first. Not that I hate the match, but when I first watched it, I think just the excitement of being a Kross fan, I thought it was a great match. But then because we're doing this tonight, I went back, I watched that match.
Sure. Yeah.
He didn't do anything amazing in the ring. Again, a couple clotheslines, a couple suplexes. That's it. And he won. And he won.
So regarding Karrion Kross, I think there's a few things. Number one, you're right. His entrance is great.
It is. It's phenomenal.
His, he has the eye candy and Scarlet.
Yeah.
True fact, they actually are together in real life.
I kind of figure that. I see the way she grabs his junk sometimes in the ring on accident.
Yeah.
Kind of smirks a little bit.
I do understand your concern regarding him. I felt like I don't want to say they gave him the title too fast, but I felt like they gave him the title too fast.
Yeah.
I actually thought the match with him and Finn was actually pretty good. I don't necessarily mind his moveset. I wish it was a little bit more defined in terms of what he does in the ring.
Yeah.
But that will get better as he continues to progress within NXT. I don't know personally whether I should cheer or boo him. That's my problem.
Yeah.
Because he comes out, he wrestled at one point. He wrestles Keith Lee. I'm cheering him, and then I'm booing him. I just don't know. I just don't know how to perceive him. Should I cheer for him? Should I boo him? Should I hate him? Should I like him? I don't know as a fan how I should perceive Karrion Kross outside of his entrance and stuff like that. I do think that he needs a credible opponent. And Finn is that guy.
Yeah.
But I just don't think Karrion Kross is a finished product yet.
No. And I don't want to see Kross versus Finn Balor 1,000 times either.
And I don't think you will. Finn is due a rematch.
Yeah. Of course.
To be fair, he's due a rematch.
Yeah.
And I just think that there's tons of other guys. I mean, there's
Bronson
if you
Reed.
want to be,
Bronson Reed.
I like Bronson Reed.
Yep.
I am a big fan of Gargano. I'm a big fan of Tyler Dunn.
You mean Pete Dunne?
Pete Dunne. Sorry. Tyler Dunn's the picture. Pete, I'm a big fan of Pete Dunne.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of him.
Well, he called Kross out, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. And I mean, there are credible opponents. Hell, I would like to see him and Adam Cole wrestle.
Who? Kross and Cole?
Yeah. Because I think and I've always been a huge fan of the contrasting styles of like a big guy versus a little guy.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite.
Because of the contrasting styles.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love the behemoth and the meat going against each other, but there's nothing like, seeing a little guy trying to, outwork a big guy, which is why, when Brock Lesnar wrestled AJ Styles one year, that was a really good match because of the contrasting styles between AJ and Brock.
Yeah.
But I get your point.
We go back to what you were saying about Cross not being a finished product. I 100% agree with you on that. He just needs something. He needs like a good signature move or something.
Yeah, and that's stuff that he can work on at the PC. I don't know who's producing his matches. Maybe Triple H can go up to him and say, hey, you need this and you need that. You just need a little bit more. And in terms of taking your character to the next step. I can understand. I mean, his promos are not great.
No.
Yeah, I mean, his character, it can be a little bit stale, but I just don't, he's just not a finished product yet. He's not.
I'm going to stick with him, though. I'm going to continue to cheer for him.
Yeah. Well, and I told you, that's my issue. I just don't know as a fan if I should cheer or boo him, because at one point he's doing heel stuff, and then the next day I'm like, yay! No, I just don't know.
Yeah. The dude's got a ton of potential. They have.
Oh, absolutely.
He's like
absolutely.
a diamond in the rough.
Absolutely.
That's all he is. Okay, on the AEW. My opinion, AEW is the best of all 4 of the shows that I've talked about tonight.
Okay.
I've heard you guys say it, guys at work, and myself. AEW is basically the modern day ECW. I love it.
It's a fun show. It is.
It's
a fun show.
It's violent. It's hardcore. You don't have any stupid little dainty characters coming out. Nothing like that.
No, I mean, look,
wrestling should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's and that's because of the owner. The owner looks at it more as wrestling,
Yes,
as opposed to Vince McMahon, who looks at it more so as it's sports entertainment.
Yeah,
and that's the difference.
Yeah.
And it is a fun show. I actually enjoyed AEW. I enjoy Miro versus Darby Allin.
Okay, I was just going to ask you if you watched
that
AEW.
that was a fantastic match.
That's actually my beef I have with AEW, and I don't ever have a beef with AEW
because they gave the title to Miro.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. The whole Miro Rusev thing, it's been played. It's over and done with. He just goes in there, he screams, he yells, and he flexes his muscles. That's all he does. Darby Allin is the definition of a hardcore wrestler.
Yeah. And
I don't know why, but when he does the coffin drop, I love that shit.
Yeah. Look, Darby Allin cut a promo basically stating that he like that TV title is basically his. Like it made him, and Darby Allin is a guy that doesn't need the title. He doesn't need a title. He's already over. It's kind of like I'll put him in the same vein as Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy does not need a title. He just doesn't.
I'll disagree with you on that. Orange Cassidy does need a title. He's another one. He needs to step up his game a little bit, because I don't mean to cut you off or nothing, but I had a discussion about Orange Cassidy with a big wrestling fan at work before I came home tonight. Orange Cassidy is starting to remind me of like a Raw or SmackDown wrestler appealing to 8-year-old kids. AEW is like for adults.
AEW is at 18 to 49, but you also need someone who can appeal to another demographic, and that's what Orange Cassidy does.
He's good. He's good, but like with Karrion Kross, it's getting a little okay. You put your hands in your pockets, you do your kick up, you do your little kick in the shin, He stole my move, goddammit, the sweet shit.
That's right.
So he stole my goddamn move.
Yeah.
Then when he gives the thumbs up, it's cool, but you do something.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. The only thing about AEW that I didn't necessarily like was when Moxley came out to Wild Thing. And that's
That was awful.
and that's only because I liked the song, just not the version that they played.
Yeah.
Now, if they would have came out to the newer version of Wild Thing, remember when they played during the movie Major League?
Yeah.
If they would have played that, I would have. That would have been great.
Yeah.
But it just seems like this particular song didn't match the character of John Moxley.
No, not in the least. Not in the least. And another issue I'm having with AEW. Are you a Britt Baker fan?
I am. I like Britt Baker. Yeah.
I love Britt Baker. I think she's hot, which is weird for me because, as you guys know, I like blonde, thick white chicks.
Yeah.
And she's none of those. Like a skinny 90-pound brunette, but there's just something about her. And she's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
They're pushing her as this number one contender, but she never wrestles. But when she does wrestle, she puts on a great show. But she's not consistent enough. It's like her gimmick is good. Her intensity level is good. Just everything about her is good. It's just she doesn't wrestle enough.
Now, is that on her or is that creative?
Well, they have control of their own thing over in AEW, right?
I understand that, but is that's not the talent's fault. That goes on creative and not booking her. Now, they can do it to where. I mean, I don't want to compare her to Brock Lesnar. I really don't, but I'm going to use this comparison anyway. Britt Baker is okay. How about this? You are a huge fan of MJF, right?
Yeah. Best heel in all of wrestling.
Does MJF wrestle every Wednesday night?
Nope. But when he does, he puts on a great fucking show.
Yes. So you have to have it mean something. So if you're gonna have your top talent, and Britt Baker is that top talent of AEW, MJF is the top talent, or at least the top heel on AEW. You can't have them wrestle every week just for that. It has to mean something. It has to be
every week. The last match she did was
with Thunder Rosa.
No, she did a match a couple weeks ago. It was like a 30-second match against some. I don't know who the hell this girl was, but
it was a squash match. Yeah,
but it was good. And before that was Thunder Rosa. How many months before?
Right.
That's
what I'm saying. I mean, for those particular names, I mean, that's how they used to do back in the day. And this goes back to Tony Khan growing, looking at all of old school wrestling back in the day. If you're a big name, yeah, you can show up and do a promo and stuff like that. But I'm going to force you to buy a pay-per-view so you can see that person wrestle. It also goes back to the business side of things.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit up here and let you see my top talent wrestle for free when you can spend $50 and so you can watch this talent.
And I was saying, I might actually drop the money to watch that pay-per-view so I can see Britt Baker.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that because that's what it was done back in the day. You didn't see Hogan wrestle every single week or every Saturday for his superstars. You saw him wrestle, or you might on a Saturday's main event when it meant something. Yeah. But if you wanted to see Hogan, you better shell out $60 for a pay-per-view.
The AEW pay-per-views, it can't be more than $25.
I think they're a little bit more than that. I could be wrong, but I think they're a little bit more.
Yeah, but I'm going to shell the money out to watch her.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, look,
I want to see Britt Baker wrestle.
look, AEW is a fun show. It truly is. It's a fun show. I cannot deny that. It's a fun show.
It is. But I don't know. That's all I have. So, what do you got?
So, like I said, my issues are in line with the WWE and how they do things and how they utilize talent within there. And I have a few names that I'm going to just go down a list of how I feel like they've been misused, not this year, but just previous years of misuse and not doing what needs to be done to get some of these talents over.
Okay.
My issue with the WWE, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, NXT, I'm not even going to count because that's like a different entity run by Triple H.
Okay.
My issue with the WWE is not with the talent. I think both rosters have plenty of talent. My issue goes with creative booking all the way up to Vince McMahon. I view Vince McMahon as, like, if you want to use a sports analogy, he's the owner, right?
Yeah.
Or the general manager. And it's his responsibility to put together a coaching staff / bookers or producers that are able to utilize that talent properly. They're not doing that specifically on the Raw brand. AJ Styles, to me, and this is the first person I want to talk about. AJ Styles, to me, should not be a tag team champion.
Nope.
AJ Styles should always be within the world title picture, no matter what. If you want to put him with the US title, fine, whatever, but he should always be around that. And for him to be with Omos, I think it's a sign of disrespect. And I think it's a slap in the face to AJ Styles as a performer. That's my issue with that.
Yeah, because from what I see, all they have do, they just have that. What's his name? Omos?
Omos, yeah.
They have him go in there, wrestle, clean house, and then AJ Styles with a phenomenal forearm, maybe a Styles clash. 1, 2, 3, match is over.
Yeah. Now, if they want to have a situation where Omos is like the quote unquote bodyguard for AJ Styles, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. That's okay. But for those two to have the tag team titles, I think it's also a disrespect to the tag team division and also the tag teams that came before everyone, which goes to my second point. The tag team division within Raw and SmackDown are bad. Vince McMahon never really cared for tag teams. Yeah. Anytime that he can see a window to break up a tag team, he will. Yep. You know, whether it was the Hart Foundation, the Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, the New Day, and there's a few more. Because there's always one guy within a tag team that's hotter than the other.
Yep.
So Vince McMahon is going to say, "Hey, I'm going to take like for example, let's go with the Hardy Boys. Who was the most popular Hardy?
Jeff,
right. So we're going to push Jeff to the moon, and we're going to put Matt Hardy on ECW, the ripoff ECW, having be ECW champion.
Yeah.
Whereas Jeff Hardy can main event pay-per-views and have spectacular matches with Triple H, CM Punk, and The Undertaker. Yep. And Matt Hardy's wrestling Marcus Corvan on the rip-off ECW. That's been my issue. Or they've had tag teams that came up from NXT that they've done nothing with. The Ascension was a fantastic tag team at NXT.
I forgot about them.
and came up and did nothing. They had a cool entrance.
Yep.
They had a cool move set and done nothing. Breezango, a tag team that's, you know, doing pretty well, former NXT tag team champions.
Yeah, I hate to admit it. I can't stand them, but
But you know, their gimmick works. And then you have, you know, Edge and Christian. Edge went off and, you know, had a Hall of Fame career, whereas Christian was kind of stuck in that mid-level tier.
he was like come and go.
Yeah, and that's been, you know, my issue. And even Heavy Machinery, when you had Tucker and Otis.
Yep.
You mean to tell me that tag team couldn't get over?
Yeah, they were good. I liked Tucker and Otis together, right? Tucker,
Yeah,
he's the other guy.
yeah, he was the one that got released, and not that long ago. So I mean, and that's kind of been, and that goes to your point regarding Mysterio and, well, Ray and Dominic.
Yeah.
I just don't think that you just could put the tag team titles just on anybody. I mean, those have to be earned. I mean, there's a lot of history within tag teams,
Yep.
within not just WWE, but ECW and WCW. And I just think that those belts should be sacred. There should be a time allotted for tag teams within, you know, both brands. But Vince McMahon doesn't view tag team as special. Like he thinks that there's no money in tag teams, which there is. There's good business within tag teams. Everyone always talks about the Road Warrior pop, and that's basically like when you hear, you know, Hawk goes, "What a rush!" Everyone just goes bananas.
Yeah.
That's always been the kind of the gold standard for tag teams. Road Warriors, Demolition, the Dudley Boys, Hart Foundation, Harlem Heat. And honestly, you can even throw the Outsiders with Hall and Nash in there too. Those are, and tag team wrestling is kind of like a I don't know what, how can I put it? It's a sensitive subject for me because I enjoy tag team wrestling.
Yeah. No, I enjoy tag teams.
When it's done right and the teams have chemistry, it's great. But what the WWE does is like, okay, we have nothing to do for you to do. We have nothing for you to do. So we're just going to put you together and just see what happens. Now, in some cases, it worked.
RK Bro.
Yeah, I enjoy that because it's funny. It's a different dynamic. Yeah, it's working. If you look at, you know, Sheamus and Cesaro, that tag team worked.
Who were they?
They were they were not the club. They were the Bar.
There you go, the Bar. Okay.
Yeah, that tag team worked.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be, hey, we got nothing for you to do, nothing for you to do. Let's put you together. No. And there should be, you know, awesome tag team matches between like actual teams with chemistry, not just, you know, four guys put together.
Yeah.
You know, and I would love to see that. Love to see that. The next person who I personally want to talk about is Nia Jax.
Oh boy.
I'm probably the only one within our little foursome that actually likes Nia Jax.
Yes.
I think she's been used horribly over the past 3 years. And I'm going to tell you why. When she first came up from NXT, she was actually having decent matches within NXT. And when she first came up to Raw, she was decent. She wasn't great. She wasn't bad. She was decent. She was in 2 women's title matches in back-to-back WrestleManias. So, I mean, that had to account for something. And she was in a good storyline that we all could relate to with Alexa Bliss. where, you know, her and Alexa were good friends, and then it came the bully aspect of it, and then she had a decent match with Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania. I think it was 33, and 33 or 34. I think it was might have been 34, and won the match. You know, she has a decent following in terms of social media. Is she great on the mic? No, she's not. She's okay. But my issue goes back to Money in the Bank of that year.
It's WrestleMania 34.
Okay. So what was the next pay-per-view after Money in the Bank? I'm sorry, after WrestleMania that year.
Backlash.
What, Backlash? Okay. So my issue with that was that was also the year that Ronda Rousey showed. And I believe, and this is where I agree, I disagreed with the decision to take the title off of Nia, but I understood the business decision to give it to Rousey to capitalize off the name. This is one of those reasons, one of those times where I disagree with stuff,
Yeah.
but business-wise, it made sense.
Okay.
I would have kept the title on Nia up until SummerSlam. Then you can have Ronda take it off. Fine, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I think Nia at the time earned her keep, and they just gave the title to Ronda because Ronda was the name. I thought that they should have just once again kept the title on Nia, have Ronda chase for a couple of months, and then you can have your payoff and have, you know, Ronda beat Nia. The other issue that I had in terms of her was her two slogans were, she's the irresistible force and she's not like most, which is true because that's a big girl. You book her as a monster, not as a sideshow, because she's 6 feet tall. I don't want to get into her weight.
She's big.
Yeah, but you book her as a beast to where even Ronda Rousey is struggling trying to figure out how to take her out, or Charlotte or whomever. You book her that way, and that way when she loses, it means more as opposed to, you know, the stupid crap that they're doing now when she's slipping and sliding all over the floor.
Yeah, that's asinine. It's stupid. It's stupid beyond belief what they're doing.
So, you know, and this also goes with her tag team partner Shayna. Shayna shouldn't be a tag team wrestler. If you want my honest opinion, Shayna should be. I think Shayna should still be in NXT, one, and then number two, she should be she should be Raw Women's Champ at this point.
Going up against Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, she should be. She should be. She is the most credible athlete in that women's division.
Yeah.
She is the closest thing that you have to Ronda Rousey if you choose to go that far.
Yep, I agree.
But to book her the way that it's been booked, it's been bad. But I'll say this, it is different. And the next time you watch SmackDown, kind of compare how Nia and Shayna are booked on SmackDown as opposed to Raw. Totally different. It's a little bit more credible when they go to SmackDown. Okay. But it's also the level of opponent too.
Yeah.
But you know, it's kind of like that. You know, it's like who's running what. Mm-hmm. You know, and then we go to, let's say, Cesaro. Huge fan of Cesaro. Huge fan. Cesaro could be a guy that could wrestle across every brand and still not get tired. Because that dude is pound for pound probably the best wrestler and probably in any company, in my opinion. He could be I don't want to call him the face of the WWE because there really is no face to the WWE, but he can be top 10 in the WWE or top 5.
I agree. Didn't they say like
And
he's the strongest
he's just
out of all the wrestlers?
his workouts are insane.
Yeah.
You know, I
Like he was out lifting Lesnar and Reigns and
yeah, yeah.
all those guys.
My issue is that Vince McMahon stated that the reason why Cesaro won't be able to be pushed like some of these other people is because he doesn't connect well with the fans verbally. All right, fine. I get that. But he's able to connect with fans in terms of his in-ring ability. They enjoy that. Can he bring it? Can he bring in money? Maybe. I think if you strap the title on him, I think you open yourself up to some other overseas markets. Hell, they gave Jinder Mahal the title just so they can go to India.
Yeah.
So
I think Sunday at Backlash, he's going to beat Roman. I think he's.
I don't think so. I think they're going to keep that title on Roman up until there's a credible opponent. Maybe up until when there's fans.
I think he gets the belt to spark some kind of rivalry between Roman and the Usos.
Yeah, that could be the case. That could be the case.
Like Jay's not going to step in, and Roman's going to get pissed off, and then he's going to team up with Jimmy, and then they're going to team up against Roman. There's going to be shit out of it.
Yeah, I mean that could be the case. I personally don't see them taking the title off Roman. It for me it doesn't make business sense to take the title off Roman.
There's also a rumor too that Roman might be leaving to do some acting work.
Yeah, I mean, look, that Roman's character has grown, which is another guy I want to talk about over the past 10 months.
If Scott were to join in with us tonight, I was going to wear my Roman Reigns shirt.
Oh,
because I bought the wreck everyone and leave shirt.
Oh yeah, I think I have that one.
Yeah,
I was gonna wear it. Yeah,
because Roman Reigns, I love him as a heel, man. He's such a good heel. Good heel.
You know what's weird is, and this is what drives me insane about the creative part of the WWE. They tried so hard to push Roman as a face.
Yeah.
That it just backfired.
He just looks like a bad guy.
Yeah, and I will always go back to how do you think the reaction would be if he was the one that turned on the Shield and not Seth Rollins?
Seth Rollins.
This situation would have been so much better for him and the fans and for booking, because I mean, let's be honest. The only time you really cheered for Roman Reigns is when or cared about Roman as a face is when he announced that he had leukemia, or his leukemia came back, and secondly, when he announced that he was in remission.
Yep.
That's the only time fans really cared about Roman as a face.
Yep.
But now you have this character that's embracing the family, that's embracing the bloodline. And that's a good thing. That should have been done a long time ago, which I know there's been talk of the only reason why, let's say, Roman and Nia and Tamina all have jobs in the wrestling world is because of their family. You can play that up and say, you damn right. Yeah, my family built this business. If it wasn't for my family, Vince McMahon wouldn't have a job.
True.
Especially if you watch Young Rock and how the Rock's grandmother and grandfather kept that territory going. Yeah. Roman can sit up here and say, my family built this business. It wasn't Vince McMahon. It was the blood of all those Samoans.
And I used to be like a big Uso fan, then I kind of dropped off. But I'm an Uso fan again. They're just good heels, man.
Yeah. See,
Now,
and
now is Jimmy going? Now is Jimmy going to acknowledge Roman and join? I hope not.
I hope they play that out. I hope they play that out to where, because if you remember from last week's SmackDown, Jimmy basically told Jay, I would have never said I quit just to save you.
Yeah. What he said? He told I'm no one's bitch.
And I'm basically no one's bitch.
Yep.
Now, I don't want to see a situation where they break that team up, but I do think that they will eventually get together, and that tribe or that stable will have all the titles.
Yeah.
What I would like to see personally is a Samoan stable. You bring Nia over to SmackDown, have her run roughshod over the women's division. You bring Tamina, you have Tamina turn on Natalia.
Okay.
And build that stable up. Because there's so much there that they can do, and they can draw up so much heat because they can just say, my family built this business.
Man,
that's the story.
But they have to be heels.
Oh yeah. They all have to be heels.
Yeah.
They all have to be heels. Yeah, my family built this business. And maybe you have somebody, maybe you have like a Naomi, since Naomi's married to one of the Usos, just kind of be like, yeah, you guys change. And then she's the one that goes after and gets the Rock to have Rock come back and be like, okay, well, Roman, you may be head of the table. That's fine. But I'm the grandson of the high chief. So what does that make me? That makes me also head of the table. There's your story. It writes itself.
There it is.
And there's your WrestleMania main event, Rock versus Roman. But I will say this: I don't want sticky Rock. I don't want Rock. I don't want the Rock that's laying the SmackDown. I want Dwayne Johnson.
Badass.
I want. That's who I want. I want Dwayne Johnson. He can still come out to his music and every once in a while do a catchphrase. And I'm gonna tell you why I want Dwayne Johnson. I went back and I looked at some of the old John Cena versus The Rock promos leading up to WrestleMania 28.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge Rock fan, but I'm gonna tell you something. John Cena either got the best of him or was tied with The Rock in terms of those verbal skills. And I only say that because John Cena, when he's not being goofy, he can bring it. He can bring it. And he brought some truth to The Rock. And it wasn't up until The Rock was like, you know what? I'm a 6'4", 265-pound Samoan, black Samoan. And if you keep talking, I'm gonna bust you up. And that took it from, I'm gonna lay the smackdown on you to being a 6'4", 265 guy that's gonna beat the shit out of some punk ass white kid who wear jean shorts to wrestle.
Yeah.
That's what I personally want to see. I want to see Dwayne Johnson instead of The Rock. The Rock, for me, The Rock is entertainment. Rock is entertainment. I want to see Dwayne Johnson, the man. I want to see Peter Maivia's grandson, Rocky Johnson's son. Once again, stories that write themselves.
Man, I want that now.
Creative has to have the foresight to do stuff like this, and that's been my issue. And it's not just Raw; it's SmackDown. I mean, it's both shows. It's I think one of the things that can help Raw is you take it down from 3 hours to 2.
Yeah, it is a little much.
Monday Night Raw is a hard show because it's 3 hours.
Yep. It's 3 hours of basically nothing.
It's a variety show. It's a variety show. It's not sports entertainment. Well, I'm gonna take that back. It is sports entertainment because it's a sports entertainment variety show. It's not a wrestling show. And it's not appointment television. Yep. Like I don't have to, it's not like I have to get it home and watch Raw. I can just catch it off my DVR.
Yep, that's what I do. So I can fast forward.
Yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. Whereas back in the day, when it was 2 hours, it was appointment television. Everybody was over.
Yep.
You don't have that. So, yeah, I mean that's kind of what I have. I don't know if you have time. We can say this for another day. That's cool. But I do want to dabble in a little bit of the whole AEW NXT quote unquote war.
Yeah, let's save that for another day.
All right, that's cool.
That'll get too long.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
But yeah, no, I just had that, and like I said, it that's been bothering me for a while in terms of those particular wrestlers and how storylines could be done better, and it is what it is at this point. I mean, I'm gonna still watch, because I'm a
yeah,
fan, and wrestling is not hurting, you know. I saw where Raw, SmackDown, and AEW were the top cable shows.
yep.
Wrestling's not hurting. Wrestling's not going anywhere.
We
It's
complain
not what it
about it.
used to be.
We complain about it, but we sit there and watch it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. But I mean that's the fun part. We can sit up here and talk crap about it. Like, yeah, I would have done this, but that's what this is all about.
Yep, absolutely. So, all right. Well, if you don't have anything else,
I'm good. I'm good. My soul is cleansed now.
there you go. So,
So I'm good.
all right. I guess until next time.
Yep.
It's been
And
Chicago Tough Sports. And
go Sox.
yeah, go Sox. All right. Have a good night, dude.
Yeah, you too.